From the alley-oops at Kezar to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way. From off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
Whoa, Cutback crew. I don't know what's going on. My OBS is completely pooping the bed. Pooping the bed, but it's fine. We got breaking news. We got breaking news, folks. Breaking news. Super breaking news. Oren Burks signs. Oren Burks has signed with the San Francisco 49ers. That has happened. It is here. It has happened. I can't even get this out fast enough. I can't do it. I can't get it out fast enough. Holy cow. Okay, the Niners have signed Oren Burks. So linebacker signed 2-year, $5 million deal is what is being reported. That is the reported situation here from Ari Mirov, works for PFF. Yeah, so former Packers linebacker Oren Burks. Definitely a surprise. Definitely a surprise. I don't think a lot of us were thinking Oren Burks was going to be signing with the San Francisco 49ers. I don't think that was a thought that was in a lot of people's minds. But here we are, yet again, here we are still regardless. Oren Burks is now a San Francisco 49ers. A 2-year, $5 million deal is what is being reported. So this is kind of nice. This is kind of nice for San Francisco. This is definitely a positive thing, addressing the linebacker room. If you pull up some of his stats and some of his things and what he has done, last season in 2021, played in 17 games, started 3, had 36 tackles. This is a guy who's dealt with some. I think he's dealt with a couple of injuries, if I'm not mistaken. But a young guy, very fast, in space, doesn't miss a lot of tackles either. 7.7% was the most of his missed tackle percentage has ever been. That was both his rookie campaign and last season for Green Bay. They had a 4.5 missed tackle percentage in 2020. So in the 2020 season, it was just that. So yeah, a guy with a lot of promise. Hasn't really been used a lot in pass coverage per se. I'm not really the pass coverage guy, but he is very athletic. He has blitzed quite a bit in his career. He only has a half a sack, which came last season. But he did have some quarterback hurries and some quarterback knockdowns. But this is a guy who, with limited snaps and some production, has done some things. Maybe 36 tackles last season in 3 games played. In 3 games started, excuse me. He played in 17 games, but in 3 starts, 36 tackles. So you're looking at about, who's probably in that 8 to 9 tackle per game range there, which is definitely not a bad thing for the San Francisco 49ers. So big news, big information here. This is kind of exciting. Not a big contract either. So 2 years, $5 million, looking at about 2.5 per season. That's not a bad thing for the 49ers. It's not going to cost you a whole heck of a lot in order to get this done and to bring this guy in. So we're going to see how does the Cutback crew feel about this is really what it comes down to. How is everybody else feeling about this signing and what this means for the 49ers? Did you all expect it? Did you expect this? Was this the move that people thought was happening next? I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was. But it's here nonetheless. Regardless of that fact, it is here. This gentleman has signed with San Francisco. He is part of this team now, and he is going to be the new member of this linebacking core that D'Amico Ryans is going to be trying to mold and do something with. Oren Burks is now officially a San Francisco 49er. This is an interesting signing. I don't think a lot of people were thinking linebacker was going to be the next thing that was to fall, the next domino for this team to fall, but it did. We're gonna see. We're gonna absolutely see. Man, he had a pectoral injury in 2019. It looks like. So he's 2 years removed from that. They're hoping that this guy is going to turn this around. Does this mean we trade Greenlaw? No. But this may signal that maybe they're not doing something with Azeez Al-Shaair. Unfortunately, that may be signaling that Azeez may be on the outs. But I don't even believe that. I think this is just depth. I think it's depth at the room. I think you're looking at this as potentially a Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles replacement, or maybe a Marcel Harris replacement. Improving the linebacker room, you're going to let Marcel Harris walk in free agency. Possibly that's what that means. Could be wrong. Maybe this does mean Dre Greenlaw is on the outs, but as of right now, I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case at all. But my goodness gracious, interesting signing. Interesting that this is the move, right? I didn't expect this to be the move. Was expecting something else. I felt if a linebacker was going to get signed first before anything else, it would be, if we were to see a linebacker signing, it would be someone like Bobby Wagner. Instead, it's Oren Burks, a young guy, 26 years old, has played in a similar system in terms of, 49ers and Green Bay have similar schemes. Now, Green Bay's scheme not necessarily exactly the same as San Francisco's, but they feel the athleticism and what he brings to the table potentially hasn't been fully tapped into yet, and that D'Amico Ryans thinks he can do something with it. The Niners have shown that under D'Amico Ryans, anyway, they won't necessarily go out and draft linebackers. They're not going to necessarily do that. So if they're not going to draft linebackers, then you're looking to pick them up in free agency. That's where you're going to be looking to grab them. This may signal that, again, linebacker, not important. Not important at all. Greenlaw, Alshire, one of them may be in trouble, though, now. You're not wrong, BV. One of them could be in trouble. One of them could be on the outs, potentially, or this could just signal Marcel Harris. I mean, this is not a lot of money that we're talking about here. It's 2 years, $5 million. We don't know what the guaranteed money is yet. I haven't seen anything come through on what the guaranteed money is yet. So, I mean, this could be like this could be a base minimum salary with some escalators up to $5 million, right? That's what we could be looking at here as a base salary at the league minimum, right around that $1.25 million range, which means it's a 2 years, $2.5 million contract with escalators up to $5. And if that's the case, then I think you're looking at a situation in which Alshire and Greenlaw are probably safe. And the reality is that you're looking at a bye-bye to someone like Marcel Harris, and the Niners are upgrading the room with a linebacker who's been in the league for a handful of years, who's definitely shown some promise, and doesn't really lose you a whole lot in potentially the run fit aspect of the game, and it's a surefire tackler. This guy doesn't miss a lot of tackles. So there's that. I'm not sure about the coverage stuff with this guy, but he's 6'3", he's 233 pounds. He played inside linebacker, so that would tend you to believe that he's probably in our scheme going to fit to more of an outside linebacker role and potentially the will role. So if that's the case, it's going to be interesting. Waiting for them to sign Jordan Matthews. I believe he's already signed. He's on a futures contract right now, Hafeshian. He's currently on a futures contract at the moment. So interesting. Just an interesting situation overall for San Francisco. Interesting situation with this signing and with this guy. How are you feeling? The 8 or 9 of you that are here right now. How are you feeling about this? This is different. Did you want the Niners to do something like this? Did you want them to sign this? Is this what this the move you were hoping to see, or are you hoping for something else? That's the real question. Bomber, how you doing, my guy? How you doing, Bomber? How you doing? How you feeling about the signing with Oren Burks? How you feeling? 2 years, $5 million. Man, 2 year deal, $5 million. It's not a lot. Dre Greenlaw gone? No. 2 year, $5 million. Dre Greenlaw's not gone. I don't think that's what this means. This guy hasn't started a lot of football games. You're not replacing Dre Greenlaw with Oren Burks. That's not what you're doing. Oren Burks is not replacing Dre Greenlaw. That seems silly. That seems absolutely silly. Yes, if it leads to Jimmy G to the Colts. It could. It could. Good. Feel like they're going to make a trade. Okay. I mean, I feel like that's going to be happening here at some point as well, guys. I feel like the trade is coming here down the road at some point. I think if anything right now with this contract, the money that is given to this guy and what's going on, I think this is more of a, you're improving the room around Dre Greenlaw, Azeez Al-Shaair, and Fred Warner, rather than replacing one of them, right? You're definitely not replacing Fred with Oren Burks. I don't think there's any way that you're replacing Dre Greenlaw with Oren Burks. Maybe Azeez Al-Shaair, if you think he's going to be costing you more money, or if you're not going to tender him. But I think the reality of the situation is this is most likely the Marcel Harris replacement. You're upgrading the room. This is probably going to end up being a base, minimum contract, 1.25 somewhere in there per year, 2.5 over 2 years with escalators to 5. I think is what you're looking at. Deshaun Watson and the 49ers, today says that he's on fire podcast. Okay, I mean they're going through all their options, right? They're putting themselves into the thick of it. They're enticing the Texans. If the Niners didn't try and meet with Deshaun Watson, I would have been shocked. But I mean, look, they're going to do their due diligence. They're going to put pressure on the rest of the league to try and pull the trigger on the Jimmy trade. I mean, you want a quarterback. Then if the Niners going to meet, if that's correct, right there, Evan, if that is correct, and the Niners are meeting with Deshaun Watson, they are putting the rest of the league on notice. Oh, you want Deshaun? Well, we can go get Deshaun too, right? We can go to Deshaun too, and we'll sit on Deshaun and Trey, right? We'll chill on Deshaun and Trey, which means now there's 3 of you out and only 1 quarterback left. Come make a deal. That is 100% possible. I'm here to stir the controversy pod. This absolute guy right here. Don't you think we should get a lockdown corner over a tackler Ward? Well, look, I think Ward has high side. He has high potential, high ceiling, very high ceiling. Charvarius Ward does. Think about it. When the last time they played the Cincinnati Bengals, when he was covering Jamar Chase, he only gave up 55 yards. That's good. It's better than what Ambry Thomas did when he was last time he covered Jamar Chase. So he has upside. He has eyesight. The problem is that he also has some situations and some moments where he doesn't necessarily play up to that level that you're hoping to see out of Charvarius Ward. So we're going to see. We're going to see what happens. Deshaun asked to meet with the 49ers physio team in private. Okay, so there you go. So he asked to meet with them. He wants to meet with the San Francisco 49ers and see if there's interest. I think Deshaun's looking at the other situations that are out there and available and doesn't necessarily like the landing spots. I don't think he's convinced that Carolina is a better situation than the Texans, and I don't think he looks at a situation like the Saints with all the stuff going on there, cap and all of that other stuff, and them possibly not being able to have a long-term successful team, and he's going, yeah, that's a place I want to be. I think we got a Super Bowl window here. I think this team's relevant for the next 10 years. I think he's nervous about those type of things, right? Leaving the Texans, a team that hasn't necessarily been very good while he's been there other than a handful of years, and he's looking at a team like San Francisco, and he's like, hey guys, you guys want to meet with me too? I wouldn't mind being in your guys' situation. Sounds good over there. So we're gonna see. But the Twisted, that is a very good thing there to keep in mind. You got to trust in D'Amico. I do like this signing. It's not going to cost a whole heck of a lot of money. He had a pectoral injury in 2019. So yes, he missed some time. Maybe necessarily hasn't taken the development that the Packers want, but you get him in here 2 years, $5 million. You're not spending a whole heck of a lot of money on this cat. And now you're going to get to see what he can do, and you can see what D'Amico can do with him. You got a guy who's played linebacker in the league now for 4 years. Marcel Harris was a safety who was learning how to play linebacker last year. This looks like the replacement for that. So now you're in a situation where your linebacker room just got better, right? You just improved the linebacker room, and you didn't spend a whole heck of a lot of money to do it. Right around the same amount of money that maybe you would have had to pay someone like Marcel Harris. So there we go. New Orleans franchise has got too much drama for him, doesn't need the distraction. He's also a distraction because nothing is necessarily set with him yet. Nothing is set with Deshaun. I mean, I know the criminal stuff is over, but the civil stuff still lingers. It looms. In the NFL, civil court is a whole heck of a lot easier to get a conviction and to get damages than it is criminally. Criminally, the standard, the burden of proof is much higher in criminal court. So civil court, a little bit easier, and the NFL could still determine he did something wrong and still punish him because of it. So if you're the Niners, I mean, that would be a risk. And also, what do you have to give up if that's the case? You go that route. I just don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the trade that's going to be happening, folks. I don't see it. I could be dead wrong, but I just don't see it happening. I think now that Kinlaw's knee is fixed, he will fill DJ's void nicely, says Bomber T. I mean, that's what we're all hoping for. We're hoping for that. I want that. I believe Javon Kinlaw can definitely not only fill that void, but be a dominant force especially on rundowns, first and second down, with his size and everything he does, his first step explosiveness. It's health. It's just health. That's all it is with Javon Kinlaw. That's all it is. So if the health can be there and he can start to get himself in a little bit better situation, then Niners are definitely in a good spot, and letting Javon Kinlaw walk away is not a bad thing at all. Not a bad thing at all. I'm trying to see if any other news on this contract has come out. I haven't seen anything. Else on this contract. I'm trying to see if there's a situation. Also, did you guys see that JC Tedder from the Browns got cut? I don't know if you guys saw that this morning. The Browns cut their starting center, JC Tretter, who hasn't missed a game other than getting COVID one time in 2020. I don't see Watson sitting well in California Bay Area fans. He won't end up in San Francisco. Itchy, I don't disagree with you. I just don't think it's gonna end up here. I just don't see how it's gonna happen. I don't, because I think you're gonna have a situation where it's just going to cost too much to get him in. Cost too much. And oh man, JTD Kessick just signed a 2-year, $7 million deal with upside to $8 million with the Buffalo Bills. So the Buffalo Bills addressing the running back room and the third down back. Good for them. That's a good pickup there. That's a really good pickup. I actually hate the fact that has happened. The Rams left tackle Andrew Whitworth, by the way, has also announced that he is retiring. So the Rams are losing a starting left tackle. So that is happening. They have lost their starting left tackle. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. I'm seeing some Randy Gregory news, but I haven't necessarily seen what exactly happened or why it happened. Let's see. Did Ari post anything else in regards to this contract? Saints safety Marcus Williams signed a 5-year deal with the Ravens. Let's see. Did he say anything else? Okay, so apparently Randy Gregory is changing his mind. He was set to sign with someone else. The Cowboys were set to re-sign Randy Gregory, and apparently he's now planning to sign with the Broncos. So big yikes for the Cowboys. Huge yikes for the Cowboys. The deal was apparently supposed to be 5 years, $70 million with the Cowboys, and it looks like that's just not the case. James Daniels, by the way, I know people were talking about him last night for the Niners to go get. The Steelers just signed him to a 3-year, $26.5 million deal. He's gone as well. He's gone. Connor Williams, also gone. 2 years, $14 million with the Dolphins. $7 million a year. Oh, goodness gracious. Lots of things happening on this front and lots of things happening with the San Francisco 49ers. Oren Burks, now a member of this organization, a member of this franchise. 2 years, $5 million. Got to be good stuff. Chris Kasarik will develop another DJ Jones, and that person could be Ken Law, could be someone they go out and draft. You're not right. You're not wrong there. But the nice thing is now is with this signing, with the Oren Burks signing, you have a situation right here that's pretty beneficial for the 49ers. You upgraded your linebacker room. I don't think this means Dre or Aziz is gone. It just means Marcel Harris is on the outs and you're in a better position. Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles showed a lot of development and improvement last year from that Chicago Bears game on. No, this is huge. This is big time. And now we're waiting on the big news, right? Oren Burks here. That's nice. It feels like peanuts right now, right? It feels like we're all sitting on a plane waiting to land in the destination. There's Jimmy Garoppolo being traded and the Niners signing one more big name here in free agency. And the Oren Burks signing feels like, we're mid-flight. The flight attendant, John Lynch, has walked up and been like, hey, guys, here's a little something for you. Look, it's Oren Burks. Yeah, we signed Oren Burks. Here, enjoy that. Snack on that for a little bit while we work on other stuff. That's what this feels like. It doesn't feel like it's a game changer, right? Or it's huge, but it does shore up depth around that linebacker room. It does do that. That's a positive thing for San Francisco. Contavious Street's going to need to step up. Agreed. Greenlaw could get some draft capital. He is hurt too much. I mean, I think last year's injury is the problem with Greenlaw. And I think it's actually a benefit for the 49ers because I think you could, Ant and I have talked about this, you could extend him and save some money. You save like $1.5 million or something like that if you extend Dre Greenlaw, but you can extend him for cheap for the next few years. And keep him around, or he may not want that, or maybe the Niners don't want that and they want to see if he's going to stay healthy before they try and re-sign him. The problem is that he's a Pro Bowl caliber linebacker, so if he stays healthy and has the year we all think he is, he's probably a Pro Bowler and going to get paid. Now the nice thing is if he gets paid and someone else takes him next year, you can end up with a 3rd round compensatory pick for him. That can happen. That definitely can happen. And if you're not going to get a 3rd round pick for Dre Greenlaw right now, which I don't think you would, or maybe that is all you would get, if you're not going to get better than the 3rd round pick, why deal him now? Why not keep him around and utilize him? And then do things like sign Oren Burks to shore up your room around him. I think that was the route to go. I think that's what the Niners did, and I think this is a positive situation. I don't think it's a bad one. And you didn't have to pay a whole heck of a lot of money to make it happen, which I think is even better personally. So I'm all for this. I like this signing a lot. Definitely not the signing that I thought was going to happen. But nonetheless, it's here. Oren Burks is a member of the 49ers. Bye-bye Green Bay. Goodbye snow. Hello Santa Clara, and nice weather. And occasionally, atmospheric river. Just on occasion, once every decade or so. My goodness gracious, what a game that was last year. Gonna miss the guys. Who are you gonna miss? Maybe a Jimmy and Trey trade for Deshaun, says Bomber. I don't think that's happening. Evan is just here to stir the pot. I don't like it. Evan. What the heck, man? What the heck what's your deal, bro? Come on, son. Don't be doing that now. Oh no, see, I said Hefestion. My bad, Hefestion. I didn't mean that. That was supposed to go. That was supposed to go here. Nope, I did it again. It was supposed to go to He's on Fire podcast. My apologies. It was supposed to go. It was supposed to go there. Not to you. Let's see. Do you have the red light on in your room all day? No. The red light is not. Yeah, this one over here. This one here. This one over here. I got two of them. No. Only when we go live. It would be annoying. It would be very, very annoying if that were the case. What signing were you expecting? I was expecting an edge rusher. I said that last night. I thought edge rusher was going to be the next spot that was addressed and picked up on. Ant thought it was going to be slot wide receiver. Linebacker. Curveball. Just big curveball. This is what I mean. The Niners don't leak, right? The Niners don't leak information. You only find things out when they're supposed to. You're just holding on. I mean, at this point, literally, we're all on a ride. We're all on a flight, and the destination is Santa Clara. And the start of the draft. Fowler was who I was hoping for, AJ. That's who I was hoping for. We're all on a flight right now. We're all riding. Coach, first class, business class, whatever it is that your preference is. And John Lynch is walking around and just, here's Shavarius Ward, here's Oren Burks, but we're not getting the big thing that we want, right? We're not flying over the big trade that is Jimmy Garoppolo right now. It's just not happening. How bad does the D Ford restructure hurt us? It doesn't hurt us. Bomber, it doesn't hurt us. It does the opposite. Free up $5 million this year. You took $5 million and pushed it over 2 years down the road, and you didn't re-sign him. You didn't extend him. So he's still under contract through next year. Next year is the last year of his contract. So you're just moving money down the road. Jed Work doesn't like Deshaun. Won't happen. Probably not, Investion. I don't think it's going to either. I don't think it's happening. I just don't see where it's happening. Just not the case. But no, interesting nonetheless. Interesting nonetheless with this signing. And I'm going to try and see if I can pull up some details in terms of what exactly is going on with the money on this. Because I would like to see what's guaranteed and what's not. Because if this is a minimum salary guaranteed contract, this is huge for the Niners. It's big time for the Niners. See if SB Nation has any new updates on what this is. So here's some things for the cutback crew. Here's a couple of things for you that may make you feel better. He was selected 18 picks after Fred Warner. He looks like he was a safety. He's a former college safety, so he fits the mold. Fits the mold of 49ers linebackers. He ran a 4.59 40, 39.5-inch vertical leap. So extremely athletic. Extremely athletic. They're saying, SB Nation is saying this likely signals Aziz Al-Shaair, the 49ers are going to tender, or Dre Greenlaw is on the way out. He says, I doubt the Niners will pay 4 linebackers. I think he may be wrong. You can save money by extending Dre Greenlaw. So I just don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think that's the reality of the situation here. So we're going to see. We're going to see if what changes and what happens. And it looks like someone just signed a deal as well. So safety Marcus Williams deal from the Ravens. $37 million guaranteed, $31 million next year. Holy crap. Wow, the Ravens, that's a massive contract right there. My goodness, that may have just set the safety market across the board. Here we go. Update from Matt Mayoko. Breaking as well, the 49ers are not meeting with Texan quarterback Deshaun Watson, a source just told him. So all of that information that He's on Fire just put out there, it's bonk, Evan. It's not true. They're not doing it per Matt Mayoko. Does that mean that they're doing it? I don't know. The Niners don't leak. So someone leaked it, and now Matt Mayoka's leaking that the meeting's not happening. The meeting could be happening behind the closed doors, but we'll see. Lucky Deshaun Watson to the Niners. He's coming in. Is Desmond King off the board? Not that I'm aware of. I don't think Desmond King has signed anywhere yet. Twisted. I don't think that has happened yet. I don't know if that's going to be San Francisco, though. I don't know if the Niners are going to be going after another cornerback who's going to be costing more than about $3 million a year. $3 million over the life of a contract. I just don't think that's going to happen. And I think he could probably command, with what we've seen right now, he could probably get about $4.5 million. Deshaun Watson rejected the Eagles. Yada yada yada. I already know that. Eldon Robertson just signed with the Dolphins. So I mean, I was hoping to see more of this contract because I wanted to see if there was some guaranteed money or non-guaranteed money there that was going to come back San Francisco's way and maybe help them in certain situations. But I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening. I don't think we're going to know about that until the contract actually is signed come Wednesday. So we're going to see. And I know there's people still reporting and saying that, hey, the Niners are meeting with Deshaun Watson. Apparently he's set to also meet with the Falcons, Panthers, Saints, and Browns. So he's already met with the Panthers and Saints. He's supposed to meet with the Browns today, Falcons tomorrow, and apparently he's supposed to have a meeting with the Niners, but Mayoko now has come out and dispelled that. So, who knows? Until anything actually happens and the Niners officially meet with Deshaun Watson, I mean, it's a nothing burger until it happens. And anyone reporting that it's happening, I mean, I've seen there are so many accounts right now on Twitter that are just putting information out there. They're throwing stuff on a wall and hoping it sticks. Because if it sticks, it's like, oh, look, see, we broke it. The whole time. We knew the whole time. It was all us. I called it. There's so many people out there doing that right now, hoping that they get something right. Because if they get something right, they can, that was me, everyone follow me, I'm legitimized sort of thing. That it's just hard. It's hard to follow. So unless it's verified or corroborated by a couple different people, it's a nothing burger. So the fact that Deshaun Watson is meeting with the 49ers, is not meeting with the 49ers, to me means it's nothing until it actually happens. It doesn't mean anything until it happens. So if it doesn't happen, I mean, I wouldn't invest too much time in this as a 49er fan, right? Trey Lance is the quarterback. Until we got multiple sources confirming that it's happening, and no sources come out and saying it's not happening, until that officially occurs, just don't get your hopes up for it, because it's not a reality. It's really not. Someone tweeted that Evan Ingram was joining the Niners on a $9 million deal. 2 days later, he signed with the Jags. I wholeheartedly agree. People just want clout. Agreed. Granted, it's a big thing that people are doing. This happens every free agency. Every free agency, this happens. You have people you have the well-established known guys, right? The blue check marks, the Grant Cohns of the world, people like that who maybe are a little bit more dialed in and connected, who actually have some information that's going to be accurate. And then you have startups, people who aren't that, who are just trying to get known and trying to get people to follow them and get eyes on them and what they're doing. And maybe they do some legitimate stuff, and maybe they do some good things and actually do some legitimate reporting. The problem is that they want to skip the hard work portion, right? They want to skip the steps that you got to do to get there. So they're doing some other stuff, and they're taking some shortcuts, and hoping that enough people don't pay attention, that it's not a big deal at the end of the world. And I can tell you right now that I'm paying attention, because if you put out nonsense that there's no way it can be corroborated, I just mute you. I'm muting you on Twitter, because I don't need that on my timeline. I don't need that nonsense on my timeline. I need reality on my timeline. And as long as I have reality on my timeline, right, then we here at the 49ers Cutback, Ant and myself, can both bring you the information that matters the most, like Oren Burks actually signing with the 49ers. Like that right there. That's better. I'll just do it with this hand. That right there. That's real. That's happened. The Niners are doing this. Meeting with Deshaun Watson? I don't know. I think we have a better chance of me punting for the San Francisco 49ers next year than Deshaun Watson ending up in San Francisco. And the chances of me punting for the 49ers next year are zero. I do want Watson on our team with those Colts picks. We could get him. Bring Trey his college target. Oh, I think you're talking about Christian Watson, correct? Christian Watson would be great. That would be nice. Niners are going to have to get them picks though in order to accomplish that. They have to. And 49ers Fogey, zooming and watching. Make sure you zoom carefully, my friend. Zoom carefully. We need you. We need you around these parts. But this is cool. This is interesting. Make sure you hit the like button right now. Cutback crew, like the video. Help push the content out to the rest of the Cutback crew. Comment down below. Are you excited about Oren Burks? Are you baffled by the Deshaun Watson information? Do you not care at all, and you just want to get to a point, right, where we can just sign Christian Watson? No, that's it. That's great. There we have it, folks. Watson and Alex Super Bowl run in 2023. Oh, man. I don't know if I want that pressure of punting for the San Francisco 49ers. That's a lot of pressure. Tip my hat to Wishnowski. My goodness gracious, that man definitely improved upon my biggest issues with him last year. If you've been around the podcast for a while, you know that I had some issues with Wishnowski and flipping the field, and he definitely improved last season. So I tip my hat to Wishnowski. A lot of responsibility on the punter and special teams for the San Francisco 49ers. When you got a good football team, you got to get there. So far, we got Ward and possible Burks signing. I'm feeling it. Hey, it's starting to heat up, right? All roads lead to Jimmy Garoppolo getting traded at some point today, maybe tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. And in all honesty, Cutback Crew, you got to brace yourself because there's a good chance that Jimmy might not get traded tomorrow either. I don't know. Can you fix your video so it aligns with the red background? You're talking about to the right. I mean, I could try, but the problem is that it's the setup here isn't perfect. The home setup isn't perfect. Studio setup, phenomenal. Studio setup's phenomenal. Home setup, not so much. But the plan was not to do as many home stuff as it was going to be to do stuff at the studio with Ant, and unfortunately, that's just not the case. Alex is the real quality control. Can we trade Grant Cohn? Grant Cohn said he would be included in a Jimmy Garoppolo trade, so I don't know. You have to call the 49ers and figure out whoever they're trading to if they take Grant, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I apologize, Scapegoat. I'll do my best to improve upon the background for you in the future. My bad. If we sign Marquez Valdez-Scantling, it's highly unlikely we don't make an aggressive move for Watson. Probably not. Brandon, you're not wrong. Probably not. If that's the case and you are able to sign someone like MVS, you may not be going after Marquez, you might not be going after guys like Christian Watson. You may be waiting till a little bit later in the draft. Alec Pierce may be an option that they go after in the third round or so. They also could potentially go after a Kyle Phillips out of UCLA. He's got Kyle Shanahan written all over him in this draft. So we'll see. Speaking of putters, have you seen the leg on Matt Arriaza? Can be Mr. Irrelevant for us. I don't think anyone is looking at Matt Arriaza and letting him slip to the 7th. He was putting 60-yard bombs at the combine. And his measurables are actually pretty off the charts for a punter. He's extremely athletic. I don't think anyone's going to let him fall to the 7th. Don't be shocked if a team doesn't take him in like the 4th or 5th. Yeah. What is the cover on that Wheaties box? So the Wheaties box back there is actually Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, and someone else. And then I have a Wheaties box to the left. There's a picture actually on the other side of the screen. There's my All-Star jersey in a box there from when I was a kid. My MVL coaching Coach of the Year plaque in 2019? 2017? I think that was the first year I was at Ben Holt, 2017, 2018. And then the other Wheaties box on the other side actually is Montana, Brent Jones, and a couple other people with Brent Jones's autograph on the Wheaties box. So, yeah, and then on the lower end, you guys can't see it now. It's right in that area right there is my helmet. It's got a lot of 49er signatures on it. Eventually I have to get a better setup so you all can see that if I ever do stuff from home. So yeah, that's what it is. Jimmy could end up playing another year. The Niners they've teased as much, right? I think it's posturing, and he said the same thing yesterday. It feels like more like posturing from the 49ers. Like they're posturing with Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, we'll just hold on to him. We've already budgeted for Jimmy Garoppolo. Now we have contingency plans in place. It feels like posturing. It doesn't feel like it's reality. It feels like posturing because I don't think you're going to be sticking out with him another year. Personally, just don't think it. I thought the only chance was a Super Bowl. Winning a Super Bowl was the only way. And he didn't do it. And so now it's time to start moving a different direction, get off the money, find a way to get Trey Lance in there and build a team around him and see if that change and the different things that Trey Lance is going to add to your offense is enough to get you over the hump. And make sure you keep your defense sound and give him weapons to throw to and an O-line and a run game for him to rely on and lean on. I think that's the plan right now. And we'll see. We'll see if it's the plan. We'll see if it's not. It could end up not being the plan. It could end up not being the plan, and the Niners are, in fact, going to be holding on to Jimmy Garoppolo. But I think that's the least likely scenario. I think the least likely scenario is Deshaun Watson coming to San Francisco, then Jimmy Garoppolo staying at San Francisco. I think those are the two least likely. The most likely is Trey Lance as the quarterback. We've always said that. Trey Lance always felt like 1. Tom Brady felt like 2. Jimmy felt like 3, and Aaron Rodgers felt like 4. You can just put Aaron Rodgers at 4 and Deshaun Watson at 5. If we're talking those scenarios in that order. Still time for a trade. As long as they're under the cap in time, they could trade during the draft to pick up C. Watson. They could. I don't know if you're going to be going up, though, into the second round. If the Niners are going to trade up in the draft, I feel like it would be up into the first or from like the 5th up into the 4th. Try and get themselves in the top 150. You're doing a great job, diehard Niners fan. New member here. I heard meeting with Deshaun Watson today. If popped up on the 49ers website page, what type of wide receiver we get in free agency? I think Marquez Valdez-Scantling is the top option right now. I think he's got the size, he's got the speed that the Niners would like, as well as the blocking aspect. He graded out as one of the top 15 run blockers in the league at the wide receiver position. Kyle Shanahan written all over it. It's a Kyle Shanahan receiver, played in a very similar system in Green Bay. It kind of makes sense. The question will just be money. Good job, guys. You signed one of the Packers' core special teams players. Good luck, says the Handyman Can. So, I mean, I think Handyman Can just proved my earlier point, right? When we first broke this news, when we first came on to talk about Oren Burks, I said this. I think this is more than likely not a guy that's replacing Dre Greenlaw, not a guy who's replacing Azeez Al-Shaair, but a guy who's coming in on a minimum salary who's going to fill the role of Marcel Harris. Going to be a better option as a linebacker, sure, a better tackler than Marcelo Harris is in terms of missed tackle percentages and things of that nature, and add something in special teams that they're hoping can develop over the next couple of years and see what happens. That's what it feels like. It feels like a project. And I trust D'Amico Ryans. To develop and see what happens there. So we're going to see. But Todd, in terms of wide receiver the Niners could get in free agency, I think that Marquez Valdez-Scantling one, like I brought up earlier, is a one to watch. And John Ross. John Ross is a name to keep an eye on because Kyle Shanahan has been connected and linked to John Ross since he came into the league. He runs a 4.22 40. He takes the top off the defense. He's a younger, more explosive version of Travis Benjamin. Taylor Gabriel, excuse me. I mean, think of the names that he's had in a couple different stops. Benjamin in Cleveland, right? And what he was able to do with him there. Think of Taylor Gabriel with the Atlanta Falcons. I think Kyle Shanahan looks at John Ross and sees that potentiality. And I think he's been looking for that in San Francisco since Trent Taylor. Trent Taylor came onto the scene and blew up on the scene for San Francisco. That's the case. They want the Burrow-Chase connection for Lance. Maybe, but we got to slow the roll here. Christian Watson is not Jamar Chase. It's not Jamar Chase. Not close. Not close to Jamar Chase. Really good. Very fast. Takes the top off the defense. Big body. Not Jamar Chase. You're not going to get the same connection there because Jamar Chase, the reason why Burrow has the connection with Jamar Chase is because of who Jamar Chase is. I think people forget that. It's a combination of Burrow and Chase having played together at LSU, yes, but also Jamar Chase being Jamar Chase. It's very rare that you see stuff like that. Very, very rare. That third Kittle connection, says Affection. Well, how about Juju Smith-Schuster? That's possible. I don't know. I just don't know what his money is going to be, and I don't know if he fits necessarily in the system for the 49ers. I don't know. I think he's a good route runner. I think he'd be a great, like Kendrick Bourne-esque role, third down guy. But he ain't going to be your number two. And I think he's going to want more money than that, personally. I think he's going to. Do we look at running back in free agency? Possibly. I mean, Raheem Mostert is definitely going to be a guy that they look at. Matt Breida, they're going to kick the tires on. Phillip Lindsay, also a possibility and someone to be watching if you're a 49ers fan, just because of the different dynamics that he brings. Ant and I actually thought J.D. McKissic was a possibility until he signed with the Bills today. So the fact that you got J.D. McKissic going to the Bills, I think that opens the door for some other guys. I think it opens the door for Matt Breida. I think it opens the door for Phillip Lindsay. I think it opens the door for those types of players, and Raheem Mostert. So, in all honesty, Todd, what you just asked may actually be the next thing. Maybe a running back is the next thing they're going to be signing and adding depth to that running back room. I mean, because if you look at positions where they've just added, right, you just shored up your linebacker depth for the time being anyway. You shored up your linebacker depth. You shored up your cornerback room. You still need to add depth. O-line is one of the next things that is going to need to be shored up in terms of players to bring in. And then from there, you have some other things that have to do. You have to do as well and address. Arnold Salazar, Will Fuller, or Jamison Crowder. Any of those sound intriguing? Will Fuller is the one that's the most intriguing because of the speed. I know there's the health stuff, but he's not going to cost a whole lot of money. He's been injured and missed a lot of time. Jamison Crowder is intriguing to me, but I know he's going to cost too much. So I haven't put as much stock and as much time into Jamison Crowder as I think some 49ers fans have, and rightfully so. I think he's a very talented wide receiver who played very well in a very similar system, and he can come do those things, but I think he's going to get paid. I think someone's going to pay him money. I just think that's going to be the situation. Offensive line right guard would be nice. I agree, Savage. The question is, who is the guy? Who do you go get? And unfortunately for 49ers fans, I don't think they want to hear this. It could be Tom Compton. It could be. What is up with our FG? Or front office? Oh, so you don't like. Oh, Niner by nature. So you're not happy with the moves. Let me know what you're not happy about. What are you not liking? If they sign up a running back, what does that mean for Sermon? It just means that Sermon's got to prove it. Right? Sermon has to prove what's going on. He's going to have to prove it. Did anyone see anything from Sermon last year that made you think that he was ready to be the guy this year? I didn't. He was a healthy scratch at the playoffs also. I don't think the Niners have given up on him by any means, but I don't think he's done anything this last year in terms of his development that makes this team, the front office, go, yeah, Trey Sermon's ready to be 1B. And everyone had Raheem. They had Trey Sermon as 1B. We didn't hear. If you were here on draft night last year when Trey Sermon got selected, we were very confused. It didn't make sense. We didn't like it. We're hoping we're wrong, but as of right now, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. It doesn't. And that's unfortunate. It's not great. And who knows? Maybe, different system, different scheme will serve Trey Sermon a little bit better. Or maybe the Niners are going to switch up. They may be switching up the scheme, going to a little bit more power run, which may help Sermon out a little bit. I don't know, though. I really don't know. Le'Veon Bell, maybe. I doubt it, though. I don't know if it improves the room. I don't know if Bell still has that level. I mean, he's been a lot of different stops and hasn't really latched on anywhere. He really hasn't. Jan Mostert coming back, maybe. I think that's a possibility. I think Miami Dolphins were the only other serious contender, and they paid Chase Edmonds a good amount of money, $21 million over 3 years. So I think that's the reality of the situation there. Mr. Prune, welcome to the Cutback crew as well, my guy. We appreciate that. Thank you for the subscription. Pat Rowan, welcome to the Cutback crew as well. You'll notice alerts not up here. I don't have the whole home setup ready yet, so I apologize. So give them some AOs in the chat. Get some AOs for Pat Rowan and Mr. Prunes in the chat right now, Cutback crew. Give them some AOs. Show some Scott Law some love and show some love to the new Cutback crew members. Draft another running back to add with Sermon and Mitchell. Possibly Raymond, but I also could see them addressing it in free agency. I really could. I think that the guys the Niners would want to get are guys like Kenneth Walker, guys like potentially Breece Hall. I forget the Robinson as well. Those guys I don't think are going to be able to, the Niners are going to be able to get to. Maybe Robinson. I would love Brian Robinson out of Alabama. I would absolutely love it, as would Ant. Would absolutely love it. Really would. Really would. D Ford going to be on the team for 2022. Maybe he plays one game before going back on IR. Maybe Antonio. Maybe. But he did save the Niners 4.6 million, something like that. Almost $5 million. He played 6 last year. Hey, we can get 8 this year. Let's hope for 8, right? Let's hope for 8. Let's hope for 8. 2020, he played like what? 1 game, 2 games. He played 6. All right, that's about a 3-time improvement. So do the 3-time improvement from 6. All right, what's 6 times 3? Y'all 18. Maybe we get him all the way through the opening round of the playoffs. Huh? It's just gonna keep right direction. Let's hope so. Let us hope so. D4 could easily play 5. Agreed. Shouldn't it be welcome to the TCC? Saying the twice. Welcome to TCC. You're right. I should. I should. Jan, thank you. If it weren't for you, I'd be just silly out here. You guys subscribe to the best 49ers show. Welcome. Absolutely. Definitely did, BB. Incredible community around here also. Really friendly. Renee said a little earlier, too, re-sign Mostert on a budget-friendly deal since he didn't play last year and got paid. Have him be the second RB and make Mitchell the workhorse. I think Mitchell is the workhorse. I think that's the plan, right? I think that's the plan. I think the plan is for that to be the case. I think that's what the Niners would like to do. I guess the question just is, what's the money? All right, what's the money? I think ideally what the Niners would like to do is have a nice friendly contract with some escalators built in for Raheem Mostert, maybe get that number up to $4 million if he plays really well. But I won't be surprised also if the Niners are trying to sign Mostert and trying to sign Verrett to vet exemption salary contracts because they haven't been healthy and showed that they can stay healthy. They may be doing that, but they may be waiting to see also what other teams may offer up, because if a team's willing to pay Mostert, $3 million, then the Niners, if they want to bring him back in, are going to have to try and find a way to match that. Like the running back from West Virginia, Leedy Brown for the draft. I haven't watched a lot of Leedy Brown. I've watched a lot of other guys. He actually hasn't been at the top of my priority list, so I'll have to go back and check some more film out of him. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. 49ers save $5 million on Ford. Release him. You save $7 million. Just dump Ford and with a payout, cut losses. Savage. The problem is you have to do that June 1st. You have to do it June 1st. You can't do it now. You have to wait till June, and you need cap space now. So it makes more sense to restructure. You save more money right now. It helps your team out right now at this moment. And D Ford could still decide to retire. You don't know. We don't know where his health is going to be. There's a long time between now and OTAs and training camp. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. 19 for 64. Step up TCC. Agreed, Gary. Gary is not wrong. Fogies is not wrong. Hit that like button right now. Jerome says O-line is the focus. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with that at all whatsoever. I think that is very important for the San Francisco 49ers to address. I think they're going to definitely tender Daniel Brunskill and bring him back into the fold for San Francisco with the Niners. I think he's been solid for them. We're just hoping, I think everyone's hoping, right, that Daniel Brunskill is option 6 for the Niners and not one of your starters. I think that's what everyone would like to see. We'll see if that ends up being reality and if the Niners are able to do that. But you know what the Niners aren't going to have to worry about? Linebacker. Not going to have to worry about linebacker at this point. I don't think they're going to draft a linebacker either. I think D'Amico Ryans has now shown that under his tutelage, he feels he can develop guys. So don't waste draft picks on linebackers. We'll bring in undrafted free agents so we can sign guys to cheap contracts in the offseason. What about wide receiver Cole Beasley or Tavon Austin? Tavon Austin has had a stint in San Francisco, so he's always an option, always a name to keep an eye on. Cole Beasley maybe, but I think Cole Beasley's going to get paid. I think someone's going to pay him some money. I just think that's going to be the case. He's been a very reliable option for Josh Allen. So someone may be willing to pay him a little more, unless he's ring chasing. If he's ring chasing, it could be an option. But the Niners have also been moving away from the prototypical smaller wide receiver. So I think the only way you get a smaller wide receiver in San Francisco is if two things happen, right? If you have a small guy who can take the top off the defense and add on special teams. If you have that, then maybe. Maybe. I don't know if Cole Beasley is that guy. I don't see take the top off the defense out of Cole Beasley. I see route runner. If Jimmy Garoppolo is the quarterback, Cole Beasley would make sense. Jimmy Garoppolo is not the quarterback, though. It doesn't make sense. Aaron Banks played less games than Trey Lance in 2021. That is accurate. That is accurate. I appreciate you being accurate, Antonio Rosales. I really do. I appreciate the accuracy of that statement. It is an accurate statement. He did play less snaps. That he did do. That he did do. Let's see. Anything else breaking? Any other thing going on? So some more updates on the Randy Gregory situation, which if you don't know, Cutback Crew, is actually hilarious. He was set to sign a 5-year, $70 million extension with the Dallas Cowboys. Apparently U-turned and decided to sign with the Broncos. So Randy Gregory was a top edge rusher in unrestricted free agency over Chandler Jones. The Cowboys believed they were close to a deal last night. Jerry Jones recruited the heck out of him. The Cowboys reportedly attempted to change the contract after the agreement. So they agreed on something. Then the Cowboys tried to change said agreement after the fact, and he U-turned and decided to go sign with the Broncos. Oh my goodness gracious. Now we have a second person coming out, by the way. Second person Cutback Crew. Albert Breer just said, I'm told the Niners are not meeting with Deshaun Watson, FYI. So that is now two different people who are dispelling reports. Javier Vegas also said, confirmed to be false on Watson. What are you talking about? Okay. So it sounds like there's a lot of nonsense going out about Deshaun Watson. That's why we're not breaking Deshaun Watson news. We're breaking Oren Burks signing news because that is happening. That is absolutely happening. So look, I think this is a positive thing for the San Francisco 49ers. Not going after Deshaun Watson or them just reports floating out there. I think it's a good thing for the Niners because I think it leads you to believe that they're very invested in Trey Lance and what he can do, which I think also puts you in a situation where you believe that Jimmy Garoppolo is getting dealt here probably in the next day or two. Chase Daniels re-signed with the Chargers as well. So, I mean, lots of teams making moves. James White just re-signed with the Pats. Big surprise there. Huge shock. I am absolutely stunned by it. The Niners have addressed the linebacker position in free agency. They will not be drafting one now at this point. So look, huge situation for the Niners with this signing. You shore up your linebacker room. You improved it over Marcel Harris. Good job, San Francisco. I'm happy with that. I don't know about Aaron Banks. We need a veteran or offensive lineman. Please, front office, get us some help. Todd, be careful what you wish for. You said veteran presence. It could be Tom Compton. Prepare yourself. Chandler Jones or Von Miller, my dream signing to pair with Bosa. I just don't know if it's going to happen. Bobby Wagner or Chandler Jones for the 49ers. I would like either. I would prefer Chandler Jones, to be honest with you, to pair with Bosa, but I just don't know. I don't know. The longer he drags out too, that Chandler Jones drags out, the harder it's going to be. The harder it's going to be to sign him, I think, because I think he's tossing and turning. I think the longer he waits, the less likely he's looking at potentially a contender, and maybe more he's looking at getting paid. But it could be the inverse, right? The longer he holds out, he could actually be looking for the right contender to sign with. We'll see. We'll absolutely see. I'm just happy Watson isn't going to Seattle. Agreed, Antonio. Agreed with you there. Very, very happy that is not going to be the case. Extremely happy about that. Oh, all right, Cutback crew. We're going to wrap this thing up right here. Niners sign Oren Burks, linebacker from the Green Bay Packers. We don't need, what does it say? We don't need linebackers. Name a better trio than Warner, Green, and Alshire. Okay, Warner, Greenlaw, and Bobby Wagner. Warner, Greenlaw, and Bobby Wagner would be a better trio. That would be a better trio than that three. But it would cost money as well. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But the Oren Burks signing, I think, kind of dispels Bobby Wagner at this point. I think the Niners are not interested in Bobby Wagner at whatever money he wants to make, obviously. So unless things change and Bobby comes back to them and is like, hey, by the way, I'll sign on less money, then I don't think that's going to be the case. Josh Mullen says, who? Oren Burks, the linebacker for the Green Bay Packers the last few years, been a good rotational piece guy. Started 3 games last year, recorded 36 tackles. This is essentially the Marcel Harris replacement. That's what this is. This is the guy who's replacing Marcel Harris. This is not, I know there's reports out there of this means they're moving on from Dre. This means they're moving on from Aziz. I think it means none of those things. I think this means Marcel Harris has been replaced in the linebacker room. And you've upgraded there, and I think this is going to end up being, the contract was 2 years, $5 million, but I think the contract is probably going to look something like 2 years, $2.5 million, 1.25 roughly per year, with escalators up to 5 is what we're going to see. I think that's what we're going to see, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong, and Dre Greenlaw gets moved in the next hour. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. Bro, anyone but Compton, I don't trust him. He didn't play well. He played pretty good in the regular season. He just did not play well in the playoffs. And 420 Savage with the Mike Jones after the who. It doesn't get any better than that. I'm still holding out hope the 49ers get Brady, even though it isn't likely. It's not likely at this point, Antonio. It's not happening. It's not happening. I just don't see it happening at this point. It's just not the case. Trey Lance is your quarterback. 49ers fans, whether you hate that or love that, that's the reality. Trey Lance is your quarterback. That's what you're doing. So build your roster out. That's all you can do. Gary's like button is bleeding. That's how much he's been hitting it. So do Gary a solid. And if you haven't already, hit the like button. There's 75 of you watching currently. Let's get the numbers up to 50. Get the 50 likes before we end this stream, before we call it a day. Hit that like button right now. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, because we're going to be breaking news as it's happening all day long. All day long. So you don't want to miss out on anything that's happening in 49ers land. You don't want to miss out on anything, any of the moves that they make. You don't want to miss out on the Jimmy Garoppolo trade, when it eventually happens, because it's going to happen at some point. You don't want to do that. Be here. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell as well. That way you're here for all of the content as it's coming out. Count Club Cheese says, I don't know who he is. He's the former linebacker for the Green Bay Packers, started 3 games last year. Kind of a special teams ace for them, played very well in special teams. So he's going to be your Marcel Harris replacement for the San Francisco 49ers is what it's looking like. 2 years, $5 million is the deal. Is a great tackler. So if anyone's wondering, a great tackler, an under 8% missed tackle rate. Highest it's ever got was 7.7. Lowest it ever was 2020 at 4.2. So this is a guy who's a pretty surefire tackler, going to be a good run stopper in the box for the 49ers, could rotate in and play well against the run. And, there's some question marks in pass coverage. There's some question marks, but Aziz has question marks as well as pass coverage. So you're hoping you can develop those things. And this is just a depth piece ad. That's what it is. I saw someone just said, right, the Niners need to go get Tyrann Mathieu now. It's probably going to cost too much money, man. The great JM, it's going to cost way too much money. Way too much. The number is like 15 million, I think is what he's looking for. And if there's one thing we know about the Honey Badger, it is he loves to get paid. He absolutely loves to get paid. So I just don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think it's going to happen. Just probably not likely, and that's okay. The Niners will just have to address the safety room in another way. I was hoping it was going to be Justin Reed, but it looks like the Kansas City Chiefs are going to pay him a lot more than I thought he was going to command this offseason in order to bring him in. I don't think Matthew would be a bad option for the Niners. It's just going to be too expensive of an option. It's just going to be too expensive. I don't think the Niners are going to pay a safety a lot of money. You already have Jimmy Ward under contract for a good chunk of money. I just don't think that's going to be the reality. But Cutback Crew, I'm going to wrap this thing up right now. Stay tuned. More breaking news all day long. You don't want to miss out on any of it. Make sure you have that notification bell hit here on this video. It's right next to the subscribe button. You cannot miss it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what other moves the San Francisco 49ers are going to make. Become the newest member of the Cutback Crew as well. Help us. Help this channel grow continually. Trying to get to 2,800 by draft day. We had a great night last night. Great start to the day already here. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And Jan is on top of it. Right? She is on top of it. Until the next breaking news episode, until more information comes about the San Francisco 49ers, stay safe, Cutback Crew. And remember, the right way is always and forever, but always the 49ers way.